All right, question number 9. Continue with negatives and positives. Okay, we know that we have to find the LCM for 6 and 9, right? We're dealing with fraction and we're dealing with subtraction. So 6 and 9 LCM, let's use the bolt method. Common factor is 3, we put it on the side. 6 divided by 3 is 2, 9 divided by 3 is 3. And that's it. We just multiply everything together. In this case, the LCM is equal to 18. So this becomes 18, 3 minus 18 here, 10. All right, so this is very weird. We have a smaller number subtracting a larger number because if you compare the size of 3 over 18 and 10 over 18, definitely 10 over 18 is bigger. So what should I do? Do I just do like 10 minus 3 and then, just negative 7, 18? That seems like it's working, but what's the logic behind it though? So the logic behind it, again, you have to know that we first have to figure out the sign. So we know that we have a smaller value and minusing our bigger value. So we know that the answer is going to be negative, no problem. But then I'm just using the bigger numerical value, which is 10 over 18, subtracting 3 over the smaller numerical value, 3 over 18. In this case, it's 7 over 18. Okay, so let's try it with the next question here. Negative 6, 1 over 2 plus 3, 5 over 8. LCM is 8, so negative 6, 8, 4 plus 3, 5, 8. Okay, so now, which one is bigger? Which one is smaller? Numerical value-wise, I know that 6, 4 over 8 is bigger, and then 3, 5 over 8 is smaller. So I know it's going to be a negative answer because the numerical bigger number parts, it attaches with the negatives, right? So then I just use the bigger number, which is 6, 4 over 8, subtracting the smaller number, 3, 5 over 8. Okay, so I put it on the side, 4 over 8 subtracting 3, 5 over 8. Notice one thing, this, again, we're dealing with subtraction of fraction. This is very different than the first question we did, is the addition. There's a little trick that I'm going to show you guys today to how to deal with fractions subtraction like this. Normally, in school, they will teach you, oh, you know what, let's just do 6 times 8 plus 4 is going to be 52 minus 29 over 8. No. We don't have to convert everything into an improper fraction. Why? Because we just have to borrow enough from the whole number. In this case, because for 6, 4, and 8, you notice that the top numerator is smaller than the top numerator for the smaller part. And all you need to do is say, asking your big brother 6, and hey, 6, I just need 1 from you. And 6 said, no problem, I can give you the 1. So the 6 becomes a 5. Where does that 1 go? That 1 actually multiply with the original denominator 8 and plus the numerator 4, which becomes 12. Again, it might be very confusing. Oh, how do I get the 6, 4 over 8 into 5, 12 over 8? Very simple. The 4 asked for help. He asked, hey, can I have 1 from the 6? The 6 says no problem. I have enough. So I'm going to give you 1. I'm going to be the 5. So where does that 1 go? Because it's a whole number 1, you have to multiply it by the denominator and add it to the old numerator, which becomes the 12. So in this sense, 6, 4 over 8 is actually equal to 5, 12 over 8. They're the equal numbers. They just look differently. Okay? So do I have to do the same thing with, the 3, 5 over 8? Absolutely no, because now we're just going to do the operation. 3, 5 over 8, right? 5 minus 3 is 2. 12 minus 5 is 7, and 8. See? One shot. Very easy. And then remember, that number belongs to the negative 2, 7 over 8. Don't forget about the 0. Don't forget about the negative, because that's what we figure out first. Okay? All right. Question number 11. In this case, we have to know how do we open the bracket. Very importantly, right now we see, outside the bracket there's a negative, and inside the bracket there's also negative. Outside the bracket negative, inside the bracket positive. General rule of thumb, when we open a bracket, same sign, always positive. Different sign, always negative. Pretty easy to know, right? So in this case, we know that, oh, this is different sign. Definitely negative. This is same sign. Definitely positive. So all I need to do is open a bracket, write it as it is. 2, 3 over 8. I'm going to neglect a positive because I know 2, 3 over 8 is a positive number. Minus 8, 12 over 5. Again, we have a larger number being subtracted by a smaller number. So I know that the answer is negative. And then all I need to do is using the larger numerical value, which is 8, 5 over 12, subtracting 2, 3 over 8. I'm going to find the LCM. The LCM is 24, right? I'm going to write down everything over here quickly. Okay, in this case, I don't have to borrow because the 10 is enough to be subtracted by the 9. So very easily, 8 minus 2 is 6. 10 minus 9 is 1, 24. So my answer is negative 6, 1 over 24. Down. Finito. All right, delete. Okay, next question number 12. Negative, 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 positive. Okay, negative 4, 4 over 5, plus, remember, 36 over 10. That's what we learned from the previous question, right? How do we change a decimal into a fraction? Now, I'm going to rewrite this one into 4, 4 over 5, plus 3, 6 over 10, or 3 over 5. Okay, don't be overwhelmed. A larger numerical value attached with the negative, a smaller numerical value attached with the positive. The answer is going to be a negative value, and I just use the bigger numerical value, subtracting the smaller numerical value, which is, which is 1 over 5. That's my answer for this question. Negative 1 over 5. All right, next question. Okay, so question number 13. It's actually very similar to what we did back there in question number 3, except the fact that we have to deal with the negative first. So what I can do in this case is I can actually do the addition first. Remember when we talk about the addition, subtraction, addition, we can rearrange, swap things around, literally we can do 1 over 3 plus 1 over 4 minus 1 over 2. We'll just do this 1 over 2, this bastard to the end, so I don't have to deal with the subtraction or negative at the front, okay? So now, LCM, 12, 3, 4, 2 is 12, so 4 over 12 plus 3 over 12 minus 6 over 12. All right, so we have 7 over 12 minus 6 over 12, which is equal to 11 over 12. Down, right? See, if you are doing this question one by one, you have to deal with the negative first, right? You have to deal with the negative first, then you have to add a number, which just makes things so much harder. If you rearrange the terms, do the addition first, you don't have to even deal with negatives later on, okay? Question number 14. Finding friends. I call this question finding friends. Why? Because I have negatives, negatives, negatives. And then I have positive, positive. You might want to ask, Tony, what happens with a 12? It's not a 12, it's not a positive. Dude, this is plus anyway, right? It's just we neglect or we ignore the addition sign. So if we find friends, 12 plus 24 is 36. Negative 9, negative 21, negative 18 is negative, let me do my calculation, 48. So then at the end of the day, my answer would be, again, you're using a smaller value, numerical value, minusing a larger numerical value. So it will be negative, and 48 minus 36 is equal to 12. So that's my answer. Question number 15. We have to do the bracket first. LCM finding. 1 over 6 minus 3 over 6. I know this is going to be a negative number. Minus 2 over 6 minus 3 over 6. I know also this could be a negative number. So I have negative 2 over 6 minus negative 1 over 6. Remember, negative and negative will become a positive. So negative 2 over 6 plus 1 over 6, which is equal to negative 1 over 6. Okay? See, our speed gets faster because as we move forward, all the knowledge we already talked about in the initial questions, right? So we can move on to the next couple questions. All right, so we're dealing with multiplication of negatives now. Rule of thumb. What's the rule of thumb? Count how many negatives do you have. If you're dealing with only multiplication or division, everything is multiplication or division, you only have to count how many negatives do we have to figure out the sign. In this case, 1 negative, 2 negative, 3 negative. So it's an odd number. If it's odd, it's negative. If it's even number, then it's positive. Okay, so in this case it's negative, and then I just have to figure out the number 2 times 3 times 5 is 30. So the answer is negative 30. Pretty easy, right? Next, question number 17. Very importantly, you have to know why there's a bracket and the exponents is after the bracket. Isn't it the same with negative 1 over 2 to the power 4? Absolutely wrong. Why? Because the first one, since the bracket is bracketing out everything inside of it, so really when you expand it, it becomes negative 1 over 2 times negative 1 over 2. Times another negative 1 over 2 times negative 1 over 2 again, right? So what does that mean? This is going to be a positive number. This is also going to be a positive number. You are having negative 1 over 2. That's the number you're dealing with. Multiply each other 4 times. But if you're dealing with negative 1 over 2 to the power 4, that negative is not included in the whole operation of the exponential equation, which means this is negative 1 over 2 times 1 over 2 times 1 over 2 times 1 over 2. It's very different. They cannot be the same. So be very careful where you put the bracket and where is the sign and so on and so forth. Most of the time, I see students making mistakes like that. Very, very, very common. Okay? So in this case, the exponents is 4, which is an even number. It takes me a long time to pronounce that exponents. My brain right now is a little bit burned right now. Okay, all right. So 1 over 2, negative 1 over 2 to the power 4, I know it's an even number, which means this is a positive number. And all I have to do is I just have to use 1 over 2 times 1 over 2 times 1 over 2 times 1 over 2. And I have 2 to the power of 3, which means 2 times 2 times 2. Did you notice that? I can actually reduce it like that. 1 over 2 was 2 is 1. Another 1 over 2 was 2 is 1 again. Another 1 over 2 and 2 is 1 again. So the answer is 1 over 2. You can do it this way, or you can do 1 over 2, negative 1 over 2 to the power 4. You can calculate it first. That will give you, pause the video a little bit, get your answer. In this case, is 1 over 16. Multiply by 2 over 3, 2 to the power of 3. Again, pause the video, get your answer. In this case, it's 8. So then I can do 1, 2, also 1 over 2. Both of the method works, but you guys have to know that it's very different having it exponents outside of the bracket or inside the bracket. Okay? Question number 18. So that's exactly what we're talking about. This negative should not be involved into the operation of 7 to the power of 2. So 7 negative, 7 to the power of 2 is 49, plus 5 to the power of 2 is 25. A bigger negative number adding another smaller positive number. So the answer is negative for sure. I use 49 minus 25, in this case 24. Okay, next question, question number 19. Their division, 1's negative, 2 negative, answer is positive. I just use 20 divided by 4, which is 5. Okay, the answer is just 5. Question number 20. Negative, positive. 1 negative, no negative. So the answer is going to be a negative number. And I just use 7 over 9 divided by 21 over 4. I change 7 over 9, multiply by, I swap. Notice that this is really, really interesting because everything we learned up until this point is related to what we talked about first, right? If you don't know how to do division or multiplication or fraction, there's no way you're going to do this too. In this case, we're just, including some extra knowledge about negatives and positive, which we talk about too. So anyway, knowledge is always connected with each other. All right, cross reducing, 7, 3, nothing was 4 and 9, so you're done with that. So 4, 27. So the answer is negative 4 over 27. Don't forget the negative. All right, next question, question number 21. This is a positive value. This is a negative value, so the answer is being a negative value. How can I get that so fast? Because, again, I know the rules. Negative inside, this is odd number, odd, negative. Negative number inside, this is even number, even, great, positive. So, negative here. Then, this is what I can do. I can do 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 over 2 times 2 times 2. The reason why I put an over here, this over basically represents the division over here, right? Mind you, that basically represents division. Again, we're talking about very basic level of math. There are so many ways to do this question. And when I see this, I can literally see this one's negative 2 to the power of 1. But I will talk about that with you guys a little bit later. The answer is negative 2 for this question, but then we're going to use this method to properly understand how we can translate it into this equation. So reduce, 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 reduce. So the answer, I only have 2 left, so negative 2. Okay? All right, next page. 22, order of operation with negatives and positives. So we calculate the multiplication first. 1 negative, 2 negative, it's positive, so this is 12. And this is negative 12 plus 12. Negative 12 plus 12 is 0. Down, finito. You just have to know order of operation. What do you calculate first? Never do this one first. Okay? No. And then after that, we have to figure out whether the sign is negative or positive. We already know 1 positive, 1 negative, 2 negatives will give you an even number of negatives, which means that the whole thing here will become a positive. And then I did my calculation with a numerical value. 3 times 4 is 12. And I just used negative 12 plus the 12, which is equal to 0. That's the score you don't want to get during your exam, right? So finger crossed. All right, next one, order of operation again. This one I know is going to be negative 1 over 6. Don't ask me how do I get it. There's a trick to that too. Basically, if you have all ones on the top, right? Really, you're just using, in this case, you're using 2 minus the 3, which is, well, anyway. If you want to do it properly, 2 over 6 minus 3 over 6, right? Negative 3 minus 2 is 1 over 6. Done. Okay, next one, 1 over 10 minus 1 over 2. Is there a trick to it? Absolutely, there's a trick to it as well. But then again, we're going to do it properly. 1 over 10 minus 5 over 10, negative 4 over 10. So I have negative 1 over 6 times negative 4 over 10. Right, let's do my reducing over here. This is 2, this is 3, and then this is 1, this is 5. I can also reduce like that. Really? I can do that? Of course you can. So it's going to be positive because we have both of the negative. 1, 15. The answer is 1 over 50 for this question. All right, question number 24. Order of operation again. I used the multiplication first. Negative and negative. 1 negative, 2 negative. Answer is positive. So I can rewrite this as negative 8, 1 over 8, plus whatever answer I get from here. I need to convert 8, 33, multiply by 11, 12. Okay, 1, 3, 3, 2, 9 over 2, which is plus 4, 1 over 2. This is negative 8, 1 over 2. And negative value, a positive value, the negative value is bigger than the positive value. The answer is going to be negative. And then I use 8, 1 over 2 minus 4, 1 over 2, which will be 4. Because the fraction side will cancel each other out. I just used 8 minus the 4, which is equal to negative 4 for this question. Number 4. Number 24. Question number 25. Okay. I calculate that part and that part simultaneously because BEDMAS represents DM first, then AS, which means that this subtraction, this is not negative. Remember, guys, this is subtraction in this case. Okay, they have 2 names. This one little line here has 2 names. In this case is the subtraction operation. So we do it at last. So then first, oh, this is positive, this is negative. Oh, so I got a negative number. So 3 over 2 times 2 over 3 is equal to negative 1. No doubt. 1, 1, 1, 1, negative 1, minus negative, positive, negative, positive, so it's going to be a negative number for this whole thing here, which means that I will, well, minus negative. So 4/15 multiplied by 3/2. Again, notice that I used the division. I changed that division to multiplication already. I already flipped or swapped this 2/3 into 3/2. Now, 1, yeah, I just rearranged everything. 1, 5, 1, 2. So it's -1. This is negative. This is negative. When I open a bracket, you know what? We're going to do one by one. Minus -2/5. So this becomes -1 plus 2/5. When we open a bracket, because I have negative and negative, remember, negative, 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 positive, positive, always be positive. Okay, same sign. When you open a bracket, always positive. Okay, now, last but not least, I have a bigger negative value and I have a smaller positive value. The answer is negative. I just use 1 minus 2/5, which will be 3/5. So the answer is negative 3/5. Okay, so hopefully this concludes all the operations that we need to know for all the fractions, exponents, brackets, and dealing with negatives and positives. You know, some question gets very complicated. For example, question number 25 and 24, but the previous knowledge has to be mastered, right? Starting from the first page all the way here. These are the pre-algebra stuff. We're not even talking about pre-high school, because pre-high school, we also need to talk about algebra, but that's gonna be in the next video. But now we're just talking about pre-algebra, fractions, order of operations, negatives and positives. Hopefully this video will help you guys understand the concept.